Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the Achiever in You.
There are thousands of open jobs across our region today in energy and manufacturing, with plenty more to come. And that's because employers here are creating new jobs, and the baby boom generation is actually beginning to age out of the workforce. A recent occupational analysis by the Allegheny Conference on Community Development indicated that energy-related industries may have to fill thousands or even tens of thousands of jobs between now and the end of the decade, with more than half of the openings due to attrition. Recently, Chevron responded to all of this by launching a multi-million-dollar, multi-year initiative to invest in workforce development and career education with a focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. The global energy giant is partnering with the Allegheny Conference, the Benedum Foundation, and RAND Corporation to form the Appalachian Partnership Initiative. Trip Oliver is Manager of Policy, Government, and Public Affairs for Chevron. Laura Fisher is Senior Vice President with the Allegheny Conference. And Jim Denova is Vice President with the Claude Worthington Benedum Foundation. And welcome. Good to have all three of you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trip, I'll start with you. Why this? Why now from Chevron's perspective?
Well, Bill, when we arrived here a little under 4 years ago, we set about to identify needs in the region. And typically when Chevron sets up an operation in a new business unit, it really tries to be a partner with the communities in which it operates. And so we carried on a discussion with the key stakeholders in the region, including folks from the Allegheny Conference and the Benedum Foundation, to identify what are the issues that need addressed in this region and what are the real needs. And the thing that was really identified to us is this workforce gap that you mentioned earlier, that was part of an Allegheny Conference study in 2012. And it really established that in order for the economy of this region to thrive, we have to develop the skill sets in the workforce in this region to meet the jobs that are going to be coming available now and for the next decade in the energy sector and related manufacturing if we're going to take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, Laura, I wonder about that. I mean, how stressed are we right now in terms of finding people to do this kind of work?
Well, I think we know just across all sectors we have 25,000 open jobs, but we know that energy and manufacturing, to your point about the demographics, are the sectors the most acutely affected by this aging out. I mean, I think energy in particular has the oldest current working population. So we know we need to do a better job of creating a good pipeline, and we know there's demand across all energy sectors. What we didn't know until we did this study is how much common demand there is for certain kinds of occupations. And what that means, really, if we aren't proactive, is that the competition for workers among energy companies will just get much more fierce than it already is. So we're working proactively to build a bigger pipeline.
Well, you think about that, though. This should be a no-brainer. We invented the manufacturing industry here. We invented the energy industry here, and yet it just doesn't seem like younger people, especially, Jim, are as interested in these fields, despite the kind of opportunity that we see today.
That is part of it, lack of interest, and I think part of that is the legacy of the decline of big steel in western Pennsylvania and the tri-state area. But I also think more importantly is the fact that the schools, the career and tech ed system, hasn't really ramped up to respond to the opportunities that energy is really going to bring to this area. So I think the natural thing about this partnership for us, and we're really happy to be a part of it, because we do support career and tech ed, is the fact that Chevron is leading as a corporation, can define what the employers need, and they are working very closely with the schools in terms of making sure that technical schools have current technologies and are training for the right skills that are needed now, not yesterday. It's important to make sure schools across the region can kind of raise the rigor and standardization of what they're offering.
And then the young people, or people in general, can move across all kinds of different industries and occupational opportunities. Only a little bit more than a minute left, Laura, but I do wonder about, it sounds like this partnership between industry and education is going to be critical going forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. If we don't have industry at the table really telling us what they need, and we don't have the educational partners who can execute on the ground, we're nowhere. And I think what we're excited about I'm excited about in the Appalachian Partnership Initiative is that we're really aligning a lot of interests and investment throughout the community around some of these core opportunities in the region. And having a big company like Chevron and a major funder like Benedum and a brand like RAND behind it really bring credibility and attention to the effort we're getting underway.
The one thing that we thought it was really most important here was really taking a holistic approach to this, to solving this problem. You know, typically we've looked at K through 12 education and post-secondary technical training in their own silos. And I think that taking a holistic approach and really beginning with, especially in the middle schools, and developing a foundation of STEM education skills, which are critically important in order to prepare kids to be able to take these technical training programs and to be able to compete for the jobs that are coming available, not just in the oil and gas business, but across the energy sector and in manufacturing. These, these jobs really aren't requiring four-year degrees for the most part. They require some technical training programs, but these are not your father's blue-collar jobs. They require a lot of technical skills, and you really need to build up the STEM education training early on in K through 12 in order to do that.
That's an important initiative, clearly a long-term initiative to develop both the opportunity and the challenge we face. Trip Oliver from Chevron, Laura Fisher from the Allegheny Conference, Jim Denova from the Benedum Foundation. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
And we'll be back in a minute with little dollars and cents. Stay with us.